continue on towards our exit and into CRM.
It was a worthwhile little stop.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Now that it's daytime, I do want to call out, like, this is really pretty. Like,
yeah,
the
Pacific
world
Drive
itself.
is a game that like can really flex into like a very chill kind of, you know, bright sunny day, drive through the Pacific Northwest with a little some wacky menacing stuff around, but it can really be pretty like docile and sort of low key, and you're just kind of like going through these buildings and scavenging stuff and seeing what's been left behind. But then it can like really ramp up, as we saw.
Right, yeah.
And that's one of the things that I personally love best about it, is just the way that it really kind of occupies both spaces pretty comfortably, honestly. And obviously, you know, like I mentioned before, that there's like settings in the options menu for like the quirk behaviors, if that's something that isn't agreeing with you. We've got loads and loads of other settings too, from like motion sensitivity stuff to color, like vision stuff, to plenty of gameplay sort of difficulty options too. Like if you're loving the game but you just like are really not into the sort of punishing death mechanics, like you could just shut off player death.
Yeah.
For example.
Ability features. Because, like, there are going to be days where I just want to drive around. Like, you don't have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, you can toggle them on and off, too, for sure.
Never wanted to think about this place
Oh,
ever
Oppie.
again. At your
So this
town,
was...
Colossal Cappy is
I'll let
smack
Oppie finish
dab
first.
in the middle of where Sierra used to be. You can't miss it.
So yeah, we're looking out for Colossal Cappy. And this is another junction that's got perpetual stability, so we got pretty lucky there with two back-to-back. What perpetual stability means, basically, like that yellow storm, the kind of like timer on the level, doesn't exist. So you can really kind of take your time and settle in and pick across the whole landscape and fill up your inventory as much as possible.
That's good. I mean, everybody watching knows I need all the extra parts I can get. But generally, like, how often would you say that you are looking out for those modifiers? Like, what is the thing that we are trying to pay the most attention to while planning a route? Or is it just kind of a mix of everything?
The modifiers is a big one. The biome is the other kind of major determining factor of like what the experience is going to be, because the biomes have a pretty clear, like a pretty consistent association.
Whoa!
Oh, hello, abductors.
Hey, sorry. No. Hey.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I do not want to.
Oh no. Oh no.
All right. Hey, thanks, man. That was awesome of you.
He's a helper.
Yeah, I was just trying to park my car, and I suck at parallel parking, and you did it for me. It's great.
Look, that abductor just hates tourists, okay?
God, he really weeded that garden. He got rid of all these guys. Awesome. I had stopped. I was like, I'm going to check out these trunks. I'm going to steer clear of the tourists, and then just, you know. Gotta love it, man.
Excellent. Very, very excellent.
Goodness.
What was I talking about? I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, like things to pay attention to as you're planning your route. So the junction conditions is a really big one, because as we saw, like that can just mean you're not going to have battery on this level if you get hit by any electricity. Though that does get modulated by, like, if you have a car that's covered in electric resist parts, then that will be less the case. So you have like countermeasures on a lot of this stuff. And then the other big thing is biomes, because there's like a pretty strong association between like the biome and what resources you'll find there, as well as what anomalies you'll find there. So as you become more and more familiar with the game and kind of what exists where in the zone, that'll give you a pretty good picture of like what you're going to be up against.
That's good. I mean, it's good to react to information when you get it, especially since the like deadliness of the zone essentially relies on your ability to prepare and think ahead, and it's not something that you want to take lightly.
For sure. The last factor, which is certainly important, but it's I would say least important, is those like density meters that we were seeing earlier. And those are like, you know, it'll tell you how many buildings there are, and how many like resource sites there are, and how many abandoned vehicles there are. And as you become familiar with like what each of those categories of things provide in terms of different materials, you'll probably want to be paying more and more attention to those so that you can know things like, for example, I really need electronics to make that headlight that I sacrificed to the detailing station lords. In order to do that, I need to find a level that's got lots of buildings, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love that you laugh at me every time I try to vacuum a tool. Like, I'll drop a tool to grab some materials, and then
I just love the way it plinks off the front. It's so delightful.
Oh, God, it's just... Every time it happens, I'm like, and then you laugh at me. It's like, all right, man. I'll suck it up at some point. It'll happen, and then I'll be like, ha-ha. I knew it was going to work that way, and then you're going to tell me, no, that's not supposed to do that. Cool. So, sorry, we were getting pretty deep on preparation and checking to make sure that we were, like, at 100% with all the information we had.
And then an abductor grabbed our car and got us a little distracted. So I think I don't know if we got, like, a good look at Cappy itself. So as we round this bend, we'll try and spot it in the distance. Because that's that giant anomaly that I'd mentioned that Oppie's having us go investigate, as it were.
And Francis and Tobias, they have their opinions as well.
Yeah. So there you see it in the distance there, the big sort of like blue wisps with floating something. I'm sure it's fine. Nothing to be worried about.
Oh, we'll get over there in a second. Hey, welcome back. Please don't grab my car again.
I mean, you're gonna go off that thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Whee! There's more than one way to jump a fence. Hey, look at that.
Oh, hello.
Wow, that was handy.
So the zone has gifted us an anchor. So, I was mentioning before, like, the anomalies are generally hazardous, but not universally. And this is a good example of, like, when the zone does give back. So occasionally you'll see those kind of, like, blue puffs of smoke or whatever. And usually that'll come with something nice in there for you to stop and get. We got pretty lucky with this one happening just kind of randomly as we're driving around, but usually those happen when the instability is starting to pick up and that storm is closing. So it's kind of a risk-reward proposition of whether you feel like you have the time to stop and get out and get the thing.
So, checking my objectives, it looks like Oppie has a theory, and we've got to get the car close to an anomaly, or the anomaly.
Yeah,
so I assume that's Cappy.
That's Colossal Cappy, the big thing that's floating in the sky, which is, I think, right behind us at this point.
Yeah, sorry, I took a look at it, but we can get a better one. The visual impact of this is always awesome.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Why don't we just full send into this pit and see if we can get close enough that way?
Yeah. All right. Try it out. Maybe there's some more flares down there. I can get another headlight.
You wouldn't want to get close to that anomaly without a headlight.
Yeah.
Actually, there might be a vehicle right at that gas station.
I don't think that it
has no trunk.
Yeah.
You will not be getting flares from that vehicle.
Yeah, I've been getting better at identifying the different junk cars and knowing which ones will have the stuff that I want. All right, straight off and in we go.
What's a little hill?
Yeah.
What's a little tree?
Radiation.
What's a little radiation?
I'm seeing radiation a lot.
Yeah, so gosh, we've gotten so far into this thing we haven't talked about the sort of HUD at all.
Give
Oppie a moment.
Can you find a way to high ground?
Well, yes, Oppie, we can. So obviously, like, the vast majority of the HUD and sort of critical information is placed physically into the car, and that's something that we really wanted to do to kind of further enhance that sort of reliance on the car and relationship to the car. Like, if you need to consult your car in order to get the information that you need in order to know how to help your car, then it just, like, strengthens that connection, especially when you then kind of go and work on it with your hands and actually do the repairs yourself manually. Early on in our prototyping, we had a system that was, like, much more of, like, pull up a full screen UI, and once we first built the, like, kind of hand-based car maintenance stuff, we were like, yep, this is the game. There's no going back.
I found just enough flares to get me close.
Perfect.
So jumping down into the
it's like
pit
some cool designer made it this way.
Super good. Yeah, Our designer, just so talented, you know, handsome even. I would say a little mischievous at times.
I've never witnessed that.
With the advice that they give players, you know, drive into a radioactive pit. That's
are the flares here or not?
Man,
you might need a pry bar for that one.
I didn't say I didn't find any. I just, you know, I was complimenting our unnamed designer.
I think you have enough actually too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think you can make your headlight. I think we can make a pry bar as well, and we'll crack that trunk open just to, you know, it's good to have a couple spares.
Yeah, awesome. 2 headlights. Gonna make a pry bar. Wow. Love it. Oh yeah.
It's this one over here, I think. Yeah.
No.
The
that
radiation.
One? Yeah.
You know, the one in the radiation.
Yeah. There's got to be something good in here.
Yeah. See,
There's
look
a
at all
bunch of
that.
good stuff. Yeah, flares, things that I need. Okay.
All right, we're starting to claw our way back, get ourselves into decent shape.
Do you know how many times I've forgotten to close the trunk and just driven away?
Oh, so many. My personal play style is to never ever put the car in park, which definitely never goes poorly.
Yep. I mean, that's why I died. I was trying to eat beans, and the car ran away. I keep calling them beans. They're rations. They're MREs. It's not all beans all the time.
There's plenty of beans, though.
Yeah.
If you want beans, we got beans.
All right. Let's sneak through this fence here.
Yeah, we can follow this road up, see if we can find a way, maybe up around.
Some of that classic map planning. Looks like there's a bunch of houses and stuff here,
yeah,
too.
maybe swing by there on the way, see if we can grab a few more resources. Don't want to come back too empty-handed after our last incident.
Well, we were, I mean, you were talking about being behind the wheel. And all the information that has to get conveyed to the player. No, it's okay. We've talked a few times about how much stuff we have.
So everything's kind of like placed in front of you in the car. Like we wanted it to be a really embodied, immersive experience. And you know, like it also does a lot to kind of enhance that plate spinning aspect that so many survival games rely on, because you're having to monitor so many little bits of information that are all like individually important, but not like domineering necessarily. So you have to keep an eye on the car health display in the center console there, and we can see like there's a status effect, it looks like, on both of our left side doors, as well as the engine.
Wait, my engine's not doing good?
It's got something going on.
Okay. Well, I listen. I was worried about my headlights, and that killed me.
Classic misdirection.
Yeah, check on the end. Oh, I need an electrician's kit.
So it's got a spark plug issue.
Shorted spark plug, which is a real thing. Got to make sure. Look at that.
All right, plenty.
Aren't we glad that we researched this and we made it? Nice. Cool. Fixed.
Sweet. So yeah, you can kind of keep an eye on how your car's doing through that screen. The little like oscilloscope thing just to its left shows you kind of the amount of radiation in the area. Light radiation will damage the player if the player is out on foot, or if the car is like totally dilapidated. Medium and kind of heavier radiation will damage the car itself as well. So you'll want to keep stay a little careful on that front. We've got like a big black rectangle right now that shows you kind of like the warning lights, some of which will be familiar from cars in real life, and others